Every day, Sung Woo takes a crowded bus to get to school. He feels tired from the long journey because he has to travel from his home. His friend Han Ho teases him because Sung Woo used to be in the Special Forces Reserve as a sergeant, but now he finds it difficult to handle just a 2-hour bus ride. Sung Woo responds by reminding Han Ho that he didn't even finish his military service because of a girl named Miami. This makes Han Ho go silent, and they both go to their class. As Sung Woo and his friend Han Ho walk together, Sung Woo notices that Han Ho seems upset and asks if he's crying. Han Ho points to the sky above the library building and tells Sung Woo that he saw a message saying downloading monsters, but it disappeared when it reached 100%. Sung Woo assumes Han Ho is sad about his ex-girlfriend and believes he sees things in the sky because he plays too many video games. Sung Woo tells Han Ho to come back to reality, and they continue to their classes. During the lectures, Sung Woo starts feeling dizzy and struggles to stay awake. Suddenly, there's a power outage and all the lights go off. A message appears on a screen for everyone in the class, instructing them to choose a class that can help them in an apocalypse. Then, a 15-second timer begins, showing skill cards with stars in front of the students. Some classmates panic and advise against picking any cards due to potential danger. However, Sung Woo doubts this and believes that not choosing a card within the given time will be even riskier. Sung Woo tries to select a warrior card with 2 stars, but a chubby boy named Min Soo picks it first and receives a sword. Sung Woo gets anxious and randomly chooses a card with the most stars. It turns out to be a 5-star Necromancer class card, which merges with him. When the timer runs out, Sung Woo and Min Soo are the only ones who have chosen cards. Min Soo is impressed with his new sword. Later, a student rushes into the class with a small goblin-like monster on his back, continuously stabbing him and pleading for help. Sadly, the goblin eventually kills the student. Everyone starts running away from the goblin, leaving Sung Woo in the front because they think it's their turn next. Some students urge Min Soo to do something since he has the sword, but Min Soo is too scared and slow to adapt. Sung Woo realizes he can't rely on Min Soo and must find a way to escape on his own. The goblin lunges at Sung Woo with its dagger, and Sung Woo knows he's in trouble if he gets caught like the previous student. Suddenly, someone delivers a powerful kick to the goblin, pushing it back. Sung Woo realizes the goblin is lightweight and easily killable. He grabs a chair and smashes the goblin's head with all his strength, defeating it. As a reward, Sung Woo receives 10 gold from the system for defeating the goblin. Everyone is shocked by what they witness. Sung Woo quickly adapts and realizes that the real world has merged with the game. As Sung Woo tries to understand the situation, an assistant message appears, informing him that he can control the undead. He selects the option for a goblin skeleton, and the lifeless goblin behind him transforms into a skeleton. Sung Woo realizes he is a necromancer and can summon undead creatures. 2 more goblins enter the classroom. Sung Woo commands his skeleton to attack them. The skeleton stabs one goblin, but the wound isn't deep enough, and he is pushed back. The 2 goblins gang up on the skeleton, breaking its bones. Sung Woo realizes he needs a better weapon to help his skeleton. He asks Min Soo for his sword, but Min Soo refuses. Sung Woo insults Min Soo and tells him to use the sword for peeling potatoes. Sung Woo throws a chair at the goblins, giving his skeleton an opportunity to finish them off. He earns 20 gold for defeating them. After the fight, Sung Woo receives a message saying he has reached the maximum number of minions he can control. His classmates ask what is happening, but he doesn't know either. Other students believe similar events are occurring all over the campus as they hear screams. When someone opens the curtains, they see fires throughout the city. Some students decide they must leave the campus to survive. In the corridor, more goblins start chasing them, but Sung Woo's skeletons defeat them. Sung Woo asks the other students to run while they hold off the goblins. He realizes this world works like a game, and he can grow stronger by killing goblins and leveling up. One of his skeletons is defeated, but the other 2 manage to kill the goblins, earning Sung Woo 20 gold and a level up. He is now level 2 and can access his status window. 5 skill cards appear, and he chooses one that increases his maximum number of minions to 4. However, he has used up most of his mana from summoning skeletons. Sung Woo looks outside and sees the situation is worse than on campus. As they descend the stairs, Han Ho gets scared and stabs one of Sung Woo's skeletons. Han Ho feels relieved after seeing a living person, and Sung Woo explains the skeletons are part of his abilities. Someone asks Han Ho about his class, and he says he picked the rogue class. They continue downstairs with the skeletons. But suddenly, a message appears, saying that they have acquired a special power when they equip a dagger together as a team. If 5 members of the group have a dagger, they will have a 10% chance to land a deadly blow on enemies and receive extra gold. As they make their way down the stairs, they encounter another group of goblins, led by a powerful goblin chief. The group is affected by a skill called Scent of Death, which weakens their abilities by 30%. This skill activates when there are 4 to 5 skeletons present in the team. The skeletons start fighting the goblins, but the goblin chief uses a skill called Wild Berserker to boost his goblin followers. The goblins become stronger and start pushing the skeletons back. Someone realizes that the goblin chief's skill is causing the skeletons to lose ground. They instruct one of the skeletons to cut off the goblin chief's arm, which he uses for the Berserker skill. The skeleton successfully chops off the arm, weakening the goblins, and the skeletons defeat them easily. The enraged goblin chief is swiftly killed by the cooperating skeletons. Songwoo receives a crude spear and the goblin chief's bracelet, which he used for the Berserker skill. He feels a little happy and praises one of his skeletons who starts making strange, spooky sounds with its bones. When they reach the campus entrance, they see many other survivors. They decide to hide the skeletons in the copy room to avoid scaring people who might see them. The situation at the entrance is worrisome since they are locked inside the campus and cannot leave. As Songwoo tries to go outside through the main door, he is stopped by Jin-suk, a member of the student council who was known for bullying and harassing others. Jin-suk informs them that he is a skilled shield master and has already defeated one of the goblins. He suggests that everyone with a weapon should work together to protect the rest of the students. Mensa rushes to Jin-suk and reports hearing faint goblin sounds near the entrance. Jin-suk orders the students to take shelter in the cafe while he and others with special abilities defend them. Someone asks Hanho to come closer to the entrance gate. They discover a message on the entrance stating that it has been magically sealed, and they must defeat the boss monster within 2 hours and 11 minutes. If they fail to defeat it in time, the monsters inside the building will become even stronger. Someone understands their next task, but Jin-suk insists they hold off the monsters until help arrives. Songwoo argues that waiting for rescue is pointless since the same situation could be happening all over the country. Jin-suk disagrees, believing the Korean military is stronger than the monsters. Fed up with Jin-suk, Songwoo starts walking towards the stairs, but they are suddenly confronted by a group of 5 goblins. Someone orders their skeletons to come out, causing everyone to panic as they mistake the skeletons for monsters. However, someone reassures them that the skeletons are part of their team and even stronger than Jin-suk. The goblins become scared when they witness the skeletons using a skill called Death Sand, which weakens the goblins' abilities by 30%. Songwoo commands his goblins to attack, and the skeletons engage the goblins in combat. Songwoo assists them with his spear. 2 goblins try to escape, but someone orders the skeletons to block their path. Songwoo is determined to show everyone that defeating monsters is possible, hoping to convince them to join him in hunting powerful bosses. During a fight, when a goblin is attacked by a skeleton and another tries to escape, Songwoo throws his spear and strikes the fleeing goblin from behind. The onlookers cheer with joy at the spectacle. One person receives a special ticket from the system after killing 20 monsters, making them the 34th person to achieve this milestone. This ticket elevates their rank to an infinite status, but only 100 people are eligible for it. Songwoo commends his skeletons for their efforts, and they make their peculiar bone noises again. Inside a cafe, Songwoo informs everyone that no reinforcements are coming. If they can't find and defeat the boss monster within the given time, stronger monsters will kill them. A student reveals to Songwoo that the boss monster is on the rooftop and has already taken down their professor. Now Songwoo knows where to go, but no one volunteers to join his party. Even his friend Hanho wants to stay behind, but Songwoo insists he come along because he needs the knife skills to boost his skeletons. A 23-year-old girl named Chizu-yoon, who has a 3-star class called Tiger Hunter, steps forward and joins Songwoo. He asks Jin-suk to join them, but Jin-suk, being a coward, comes up with an excuse to stay and protect the other students. Jin-suk and his group make their way to the rooftop, encountering goblins on the stairs. Songwoo leads the charge upstairs with his skeletons to fight the goblins, while Chizu-yoon swiftly deals with 2 goblins approaching from behind using her fast sword skills. Songwoo and Hanho are impressed by her abilities. On the upper floors, they come across an injured Professor Huang, who reveals that most of the students who followed the emergency evacuation manual and went to the rooftop encountered the boss monster, resulting in their demise. Professor Huang warns Sun Wu never to approach the rooftop, and those end up being his final words. Sun Wu receives a new quest after the professor's death, stating that he can appease the grudge of the dead by defeating the boss monster within a specific time limit, and this choice will impact his destiny. Fueled by rage, Sun Wu heads toward the rooftop with his companions to confront the boss. The rooftop is in chaos, with goblins looting valuables from the fallen students. Sun Wu activates his bracelet skill, Berserker, to enhance his skeleton's abilities, initiating an intense battle on the rooftop. Everyone fights, which boosts Hanho's confidence, and he throws his knife, successfully striking a goblin's head and scoring his first kill. This further motivates him, making him feel like a character from JoJo. Sensing danger, the remaining goblins become frightened and flee to their boss, the goblin captain. Hearing the captain's roar, the goblins regain their morale and launch an attack on Sun Wu's party. However, the skeletons prove too powerful for them. On the other hand, the goblin captain starts destroying the skeletons one by one. Sun Wu manages to create more skeletons from the corpses, but it drains his mana. Hanho hurls 2 knives at the boss, but they are blocked by its shoulder, further enraging the boss. The boss charges at Hanho, and the skeletons try to save him, but a single blow from the boss smashes 2 of them. Only 1 skeleton remains, engaging the boss while it's occupied with the last skeleton. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Jisu Yun strikes the boss, causing a wound. Sun Wu adopts a more strategic approach, using the skeletons as bait while he throws his spear at the boss, grazing its cheek. The boss grows increasingly agitated and demolishes some of Sun Wu's skeletons. Now, Sun Wu has just enough mana left for one final summon of a skeleton. Sun Wu spots a sword buried in the debris and realizes that they must end the fight quickly to survive. He grabs the sword and commands his 2 skeletons to attack the boss. The boss counters their moves, and when the 3rd skeleton leaps at the boss with a sword, the boss deflects the attack. It turns out Sun Wu was aiming for sword synergy. Now, Sun Wu, Jisuyan, and the skeleton all have swords that activate the synergy. This makes the swords lighter by 50% and increases their attack speed by 10%. Sun Wu charges at the boss with a chair while his teammates also join the attack. Hanho successfully hits the boss's arm with a knife. Sun Wu orders his last skeleton to strike. Surprisingly, this skeleton was the first goblin monster Sun Wu defeated and manages to decapitate the boss in a single strike. They earn 255 gold for defeating the goblin captain. Sun Wu levels up and reaches level 3. The skeleton absorbs the goblin captain's mana, upgrading its class. Now, it has a tattoo on its forehead and becomes a level 2 elite goblin with a commander attribute. Sun Wu believes this commander attribute will be useful when he acquires more skeletons. Hanho levels up to level 2, and Jisuyan reaches level 3. They all receive options to choose a random card. Someone chooses a card and gains a basic skill to create weapons from bones. This skill requires 10 mana and allows the person to make swords, clubs, spears, and bows using the bones of corpses. As Sun Wu completes an exclusive quest for avenging his professor, he receives a special reward, slightly altering his destiny. His maximum number of minions increases by 1, allowing him to summon up to 5 minions. Hanho receives a hood as a reward, which increases his chances of hiding from monsters by 50%. Though he can use it to escape, he decides to use it for combat since he has learned to fight. Jisuyan receives a fire whetstone. By sharpening her blade with it, there's a chance it will catch fire during an attack. Sun Wu informs them that they can test their skills later and they should head back to the entrance. Jin Suk is angry with everyone for saying they should have gone with Sun Wu. He insults Sun Wu and assumes he must be dead by now. Suddenly, skeletons appear behind Jin Suk, scaring him. Sun Wu heads toward the entrance, which opens when he touches it. He tells Jin Suk that he is acting pathetically. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe.